Now then, guys, how are we doing? It's Phil, it's All Leeds TV, and today I am, of course, joined by the beautiful Oscar Marriott. Welcome back. It's a strange dynamic, me presenting and introducing you, not the other way around.
How are we, mate? How are we? I'm doing good. The tash is coming along worryingly quick now. It's like, it's really is worrying me now. What?
Where? Come closer.
Oh, but why are you making me do this on a live thing?
In all honesty, mate, can't see it. Give us another one in a week.
Well, yeah. I've let the thing around, the beard around it grow a little bit as well, so just try and hide it a little bit.
Right, yeah. Fair dues, I don't blame you. You're a better man than me, mate. I just couldn't do it. And, of course, we're also joined by a man that has wonderful facial hair, more than me and Oscar combined.
Thank you.
Combining facial hair and stats with the introduction, Martin. How do you like that?
Well, it's definitely a new approach and one that I'm not averse to. So, yeah, I'm fine with that each week, to be honest.
As usual, you're in the presence of greatness.
Yes, I am indeed. Well, normally I don't actually have him because it's in the dining room and I'm sort of doing half parental duties at the moment. The little one's in the garden at the side of me. Right. So I'm in a different room to normal. So, yeah, but he's looking over. Of course, she has to search for Bielsa's approval as well. That's more important than my approval. So,
that's fair.
Yeah.
You're playing in the garden, you're just sat there. Again!
Yeah, exactly. No bueno.
No. So, obviously, we're here to discuss tomorrow's game. We're at home to Leicester. To be honest, going into this one, I'd be wrong to say confident, but nowhere near as lacking confidence as I was with the last couple of games. It's been, results-wise, it's been a turnaround of panic to semi-calm. And obviously a win actually takes us 1 point behind Leicester, which I think that would just sort of ease everyone's mind quickly. I mean, would you take a draw? Would you go into the game thinking, let's get 3 points? Or are you terrified of getting tonked 4-1 like last season, Oscar? What do you think?
No, I think the first thing to start off with is Leicester aren't as good as they were last season. Certainly not as good as that team that beat us 4-1. I know it's very much the same team of players, but you've got to remember they've come off the back of a Europa League game.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, they've not been at it every time I've really seen them, to be fair. I know they've had a couple of decent results against Man United and that lot, but again, I still don't think they're particularly consistent. But yeah, I think with us now, I think it's that tight in the table that draws are almost like here and there, really. They're not really going to do anything for us. It's all about winning games. I know it's like a bit of a cliche, but I wouldn't really take a draw in any game. I think we've got to go. We always will under Bielsa, but we've got to go for the jugular in every single game for me. We've got to take those risks. Sometimes it won't pay off, other times it will. It's just the nature of Bielsa's style, and that's what we've got to get used to. But I think obviously, what makes it worse this start to the season, why it's been so heavily highlighted. I don't think there's many teams in their second season in the Premier League who would get this kind of scrutiny that we've had in the last sort of like week or so, or weeks or so. And I think it's just the fact Bielsa always starts well. We always start well under Bielsa, not just results-wise, performances-wise. But again, performances haven't been great. Let's be totally honest. Bielsa's alluded to it. I don't think Bielsa's really been satisfied after a post-match press conference all season, really, in all honesty. That not that I can think of. Maybe Watford, he seemed quite satisfied with, but again, he wants more and more and more from this team. But I do think there's a resilience developing. I really do think there's a resilience. The fact that Norwich game, when it went to 1-1, you just kind of felt, tell you what, at this moment, this could easily go the other way. This now, as bad as Norwich are, it could easily go the other way. But we found that spirit to win the game. The Wolves game, again, I thought was our best performance of the season, certainly second half. The way we kind of pressed Wolves off the pitch. It was in terms of our pressing performance, it was really impressive. And what I'll say is, I think you start to feel that home advantage now of games. The Watford game, the West Ham game, up until that sort of like last minute of the game, I thought we were very competitive in that game. Certainly compared to what most teams have been against West Ham. Wolves games, I've already said. The Everton game, that home advantage, Elland Road, is really helping us. Because our home form last season wasn't as good as our away form. But I think now we really do have that advantage of Elland Road. And I think it is going to tell. And certainly as the season goes on, it'll start to tell. But I don't think Leicester are as good as Wolves. to be honest. Maybe personnel-wise, you could say they're better, but as a team, I don't think they're as good as Wolves. And the fact is, we had played a really good game against Wolves. I think we could do the same against Leicester. Whether that means we get a result or not, I don't know. But
I think they're a better team than Wolves. They're a better team than Wolves. They're not. I
really?
can't. Yeah, I can't.
Personnel-wise, I'd say Tillman's Vardy, but as a team,
Wolves, they aren't good.
Nah, I've been impressed by Wolves. To be fair, they weren't good against us, but I thought that was more our performance rather than their poor performance. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose we'll see. We'll see the table at the end of the season. But for me, Leicester should be aiming for the usual, missing out on top 4. Whereas Wolves, for me, don't belong in the top half of the table at all. If anything, I'd put money on us still to finish above Wolves, nowhere near Leicester.
The other thing with Leicester, though, is that you've got the Europa League tax kind of thing, really. It's good. And they played a very strong team against Spartak Moscow Lokomotiv Moscow, sorry.
A couple of times now, and still finished relatively high up. So
I do genuinely feel okay going into this. Speaking to Locke yesterday, Leicester fans aren't particularly happy at this moment in time. So, if we do get that early goal, I think the first goal's, well, again, we say it every week, don't we? But the first goal's key in this game.
Yeah. Martin, you're going to be the man to update us. What did Bielsa say yesterday, if there is a right lot to update us with?
Well, he didn't really. There's nothing new that we didn't already know. I mean, some of us may have been slightly hopeful that we might have seen Bamford at least on the bench, but it's not to be the case, and we haven't even got a definitive time when he will be back, which is worrying. But it's, as Bielsa said in the press conference, it's subject to his evolution, as he likes to say, that it's an ever-changing injury for him, which is unfortunate. So we can hope that after the international breaks, things might be better for him. And also, we've got no Ayling, and we've got no, but potentially no Firpo and no Shackleton. Both those two are a doubt for the game as well. So if Shackleton is a doubt, that would change things for us as to who we're going to play on the right flank. Drame is in the under-23s today, I believe. So unless he gets taken off early, he may not be able to play either. So we'll see how much he plays today as to whether we think that he'll be playing tomorrow. If he gets taken off at half-time, I think he's got a pretty good chance of at least appearing tomorrow, maybe not starting. But we'll see what happens. It's without Shackleton, that puts us in a bit of a bind, because then we'd have to put Dallas at right back. And then if we put Dallas at right back, who do we put on the left? It would potentially be Harrison. That's the only thing I can think we could do, to be honest, if Shackleton isn't fit and Firpo isn't fit. So that's going to throw us up in the air for sure.
So, daft question. I think I'll throw it to you, obviously, Martin. You're the tactics man. Formation for Leicester, and then obviously formation for Leeds. What we're getting?
Well, Leicester have been playing recently a 3-4-1-2 with only one player on both wide sides, but they have also played a 4-2-3-1 this season, and 4-2-3-1 is the formation that Brendan Rodgers prefers to play. But without some personnel, he may decide to go for a 3-4-1-2. So it depends. And Bielsa will also have that doubt going to his mind as well as to what shape Leicester are going to play him with. So he might try to hedge his bets and play players who can also play his favoured 4-1-4-1 and who will play the 3-5-2. I think it'll be that will match up. If it is the 3-4-1-2, we'll only have one player on each flank, and we'll have two strikers, three centre backs, and three midfielders. Well, one defensive midfielder and two central players. Whether one's a central midfielder or an attacking midfielder is up to you, really. But so that's what we're looking at.
So, Oscar, which one do you think we'll see tomorrow? Then, what's more likely?
Speaking to Locke yesterday, he felt they'd go for back three. I think Rodgers has complained a lot this season about the lack of defensive stability. I think it was his exact words. I think wherever he's kind of said that, he's tended to revert to kind of a back five, back three, whatever you will, really. They're both kind of the same thing. It just depends how you categorise the wing backs, if you think they're more attacking or defensive. But either way, I do think it will be a slight, probably more Leicester's preferred shape they'll go with. I think it's a hard one to tell, really, because obviously you look at people like Maddison, who I'd imagine will go into the 10, maybe Perez. Again, they're not in the best of form, but I'm just thinking to Maddison last season against us in that game at Elland Road, he really did turn it on. I just think with our man-to-man marking, we've seen before, with players who can beat a man, like Maddison can, to be fair, on his day. He could cause us 1 or 2 problems. So, yeah, it's interesting from that point of view. Again, I probably prefer to face a 3-4-1-2 than a 4-2-3-1, where they've got 2 wide players, a Barnes and a Lookman, who are kind of, again, both able to beat men. And obviously where we've got that slight lack of depth at left back at this moment in time, it's probably not the worst thing in the world if they don't put a winger against whoever plays left back. So I'm not too fussed if they go 3-4-1-2. Again, I think the key thing with Leicester is that midfield too, Tielemans and probably Soumare. They do look to those 2 for control. But, it's one of them, isn't it? I think, obviously, Tielemans, if he's on it, he's unpressable. He is genuinely unpressable. He can play through a press quite easily. But I still feel defensively Leicester can be got at. So Yunchu's not in great form.
No.
Whether he's in a back 4 or back 3, it doesn't seem to make a difference for Yunchu at this moment in time. Very rash. Obviously, Fofana, their best defender for me, is obviously out with that long-term injury. So it'll be interesting to see who we do play up front. Is there a case of, against Norwich, I don't know what you guys think, but against Norwich, it looked like Harrison, certainly for the first half an hour, 40 minutes, seems to just be playing up top through the middle. Rodrigo very, very close, almost like a second striker behind him. But it did seem to change up a bit second half. Yeah,
I didn't enjoy that, to be honest. But
the only thing I'd say is about why that could work against Leicester is the lack of pace at the back. If they go with Vestergaard, the Sionchu and Johnny Evans, maybe it could work a little bit better in that game. But I do.
We're not going aerials, are we? Let's be honest.
No. But we don't play many. We don't play that many long balls. I know first part of the season we were playing a lot more than we normally would in terms of long balls out the back. But we do seem to be keeping it on the ground more than we were at the start of the season. So that doesn't bother me too much. But obviously, if Bamford's available, Bamford would start this game. Obviously, Rodrigo's just got 2 and 2. Whether there's a case, do you put Rodrigo in that penalty area and let him play a bit more as a poacher, as a number 9 kind of thing, as he did the back end of last season?
But I don't expect him to be there.
No, I don't think that'll be the case. I don't think you can. I think the thing is with Rodrigo now is, as much as I criticised last season, especially when we didn't play Rodrigo through the middle as a number 9, I can kind of see why we don't do that, because I think Rodrigo, it's not a bad, this isn't a criticism, but he's not patient enough, I don't think, to play as a number 9. I think he's always wanted to drop deep, link up play, be involved. I think he always wants to have touches on the ball. Your classic Spanish player kind of thing. Good to see him back in the Spanish squad, by the way. But I think he will probably play Rodrigo in the 10, I'd imagine. But in an ideal world, you'd have Bamford just ahead of him, I guess.
So we'll have a little crack at predicting the lineup, predicting what Bielsa's going to do, or choosing what we want to see. But I'll throw it to both of you. I'm not going to bother asking you who's in net, because we do this every week. It's obviously Meslier. So we'll go defence. I don't know whether it's going to be a 3 or a 4, because nobody's really sort of actually got any information as to which it's going to be. So, I mean, you tell me what you prefer, 3 or a 4. But obviously, Oscar, by the sounds of it, you don't expect Firpo to play, no?
No. I think even if Firpo was available, I'm not sure if he'd be rushed straight back in, kind of thing. I don't think it's Bielsa's style. What do you think he would?
Think he'll be on the bench?
He's potentially going to be. He could be on the bench, but I highly doubt we'll see him starting. Going off what I saw of him when I watched the under-23s at Elland Road, he did not look up to anywhere near great. He just did not look good at all. He gave the ball away a few times, and he was only playing for half an hour as well. So if he didn't rush back Calvin Phillips, he's not going to rush back Junior Firpo. No. And we potentially saw why he didn't rush back Calvin as well. He didn't do that great last week. So I can see why he hasn't rushed them back, because they clearly aren't at 100%.
So we'll have a look then, right backs or right wing back, depending on what it's going to be, and then obviously the 2, possibly 3 centre backs. Like, what do you think? Well, Oscar and then Martin.
Well, I think, and again, right back, it does purely depend on Shaqs, I guess. I think if Drama being picked in the under-23s, I'd suggest Shaqs, I'd have thought. I think the centre-backs, if it's a back 2, I'm pretty sure it'd be Rente and Cooper. Pascal, I thought, was our best player against Norwich, to be totally honest. I did think he had a superb game. But I do think Rente and Cooper, you found the dynamic there, I think, between those two. And I think obviously Bielsa does seem to back those two above Koch and Struijk whenever they're available. So yeah, I'd imagine Cooper, Llorente, but if it's a back three, of course, Llorente will go into that back three in some way. Left back, left wing back, it's hard to tell. I'll say Dallas. I'll go with Dallas.
Yeah,
I guess.
Kind of the only option if Firpo is.
Yeah.
The long smile, by the way.
Rush in Liam McCarron, if you ask me.
Yeah, the long lingering smile, Oscar, was obviously because he said the word "cop," and I just missed picking that out when me and you were on together. So.
But we do forget. In all seriousness, we do forget about people like Robin Koch, don't we?
Well, for a very good reason. He's not going to be back anytime soon either. So
no, I know that. But again, it's like the depth is taking a battering because of people like that being missing for so long.
To be honest, even when he has been in pecking order wise, doesn't touch the three that have established themselves as that back three now. If we do play that back three, for me, like he'd still be on the bench. I don't think he'd get into that back three or the back four.
Well, at this moment in time, yeah, because I think obviously the last game he played was that Man United game when he was given the task of marking Fernandes.
Cresswell, to be fair, like Cresswell and Robin Koch, not that far apart in the pecking order.
See, I think that's a little bit. I love Charlie Cresswell. I think that's a little bit knee jerk, Mr. Miles.
Well, right now he's ahead of him in the pecking order because he can actually fucking play. So, not that knee jerk.
We're ahead of him in the pecking order, then. Well, I like that logic.
Martin, what do you expect in defence tomorrow?
Well, after I've just actually had a look at the under-23 lineup, Dramé is not actually playing. I thought it was, but he's not playing, so that would indicate to me that he's got a very good chance of starting. Right. And if Shackleton is out, and if he isn't playing, then I would definitely say that Dramé will play. So it all depends on Shaq and if he is fit. So, but I'll go with Dramé. Yeah, very, very big game for him. I'd go Dramé at right back. I'd go Llorente at right centre back. I would go, I think actually Cooper in the middle of the three, and then Pascal on the left. We saw last week against Norwich that Pascal was stepping out towards the left back spot a lot, and that's where he got the pre-assist. For Rafinha's goal where he put that lovely ball through. So I could see that happening again. He did look to drop into that spot with the other, well, it was Harrison towards the end of the game who was playing a lot on the left flank by himself. So with him being more attacking, Pascal was moving over a little bit just to give that extra coverage to the left back spot. So and then at the actual left back spot, that depends to me as who we're playing midfield. I would like to see Forshaw play this game. Yeah. And if we see Forshaw play this game, then I would say that Dallas will be at left back. So yeah, that's my defence.
I mean, we'll obviously get to it because there's been quite a few comments in it already. Like, Oscar, what do you think of a double pivot with Forshaw and Calvin? I personally don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not averse to the idea at all. If anything, I thought Forshaw was better than Calvin when he came on last week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he was, to be fair. I think he was a lot better than Calvin, in all honesty. Yeah, he definitely was. I mean, Forshaw, to be fair, when he came on at 2-1 up, we just settled down. We eased through the game, I felt, last 15 minutes. And yeah, I'd start Forshaw. I'd go with double pivot as well. I think, to be fair, I just look at the front four. You can play with that. You can then put Rodrigo in the 10 and then mess around with James, Rafinha, Harrison, whatever way you want to play them. And the thing is, I think with that, when we do play Rafinha, James, Harrison in the same team, they don't really have positions as such. It's kind of like, it's very fluid kind of thing. It's a little bit, it's nowhere near the Man City level, but it's the same kind of idea. No one's actually playing a specific position. Sometimes you see Harrison pop up on the left wing, then he's through the middle, James is then on the right wing. It's all constantly interchanging. Sometimes Rodrigo's on the right wing. That's what I think is kind of suited us. I think you can look at the performances and say it's not been very free flowing, but when we have scored, a lot of the goals have come from interchanges between those four players, really. And obviously, then you've got Gelhardt as an option off the bench. I would personally just persevere with that front four and just let it work itself out, kind of thing. I know it's not a very Bielsa way of thinking, but almost, be a bit laissez-faire with it, kind of thing. Just say, work out the solutions for yourself as a kind of four as such, and not entirely, but I do think in that four you can have a high degree of fluidity and cause a team like Leicester problems.
Is that your mum, Oscar? You muted yourself, mate. Go on. Is it? Say hello from me. Is Jed about?
He's not. No, he's not. You'd hear him by now if he was.
Oh, mate. Get him on. I'm not going to lie. It's thrown me completely off guard. I was going to ask a question.
What's the now that you're having a go at me, I'm going to have to ask you about those glasses, mate. What's that all about?
So my living room has become my desk for my new job, and to this side I've got a big screen, and to that side I've got my laptop. And I was doing some work before the show started and forgot to take them off, in all honesty. But I am meant to wear them, so yeah. Only for like when I'm on computers and shit. That's why you haven't seen me wear them when we've been playing football or at Elland Road or out. Like, I don't just walk around with these. Like, it is for computers only. Are we going to talk about Leeds, or do you want to know any more?
Can do, by all means, mate. You could have just said I need to wear glasses now. That would have been the easy way of going about it, not like a big 2.5 minute speech about it.
All right. Look, do you want me to get into your shoes again? Don't get me started. Anyway, Martin, fashion choices. How's your beard? No, midfield, mate. Midfield. Hit me.
Midfield, I would prefer to keep things as we know and keep Calvin in the single pivot. I feel that he'll be doing a lot of man marking, especially if they play a 3-4-1-2, because that'll mean Maddison will sit just behind Leicester's front two strikers, and so he'll have his hands full with keeping up with him. And then the other two midfielders ahead of, just right behind Maddison, even Sumare and Tielemans, they will both need someone keeping an eye on them. And so we'll need two players ahead of Phillips with that. So I would want to see Forshaw and either Click or Dallas. Probably Dallas, because Dallas has been playing quite well in the past two games. He's slowly coming back to the Cookstown Cafu that we know and love. And then on the wings, well, not, I would say Rafinha on the right, James and Rodrigo up front, with Rodrigo sitting behind, and on the left it would be Harrison. But we'll see how it goes, and depend on the lineup that we see, because it's going to be very touch and go as to what lineup we do see, depending on what left to field. So, but yeah, something like that, quite similar to what we saw last week against Norwich, in all honesty, but with Forshaw thrown into the mix as well. Because
so I think I've managed to somehow get like a full lineup from both of you, despite only asking for defence and midfield. So I think we should probably move away from the lineup now and just sort of go into like, how do you expect the game to go? Obviously, Oscar's already told us draw's not going to happen.
No, I'm saying draws are neither here or there when you're down there in the table. At the end of the day,
we'll go for it as usual?
Yeah, of course we will. We do every game, but it's just like when you were saying, would you take a draw? The answer would be no. The answer would be no. For most games this season, I'd still say no, because to get ourselves out of it, we've got to win games. Draws, because the thing, last season, I think because everyone down there was poor, let's be honest, it was clearly Fulham, West Brom, Sheffield United from pretty much the second part of the season. It was obvious it was going to be those who went down. I think you could get away with just draws kind of thing, because they weren't picking up many points from the bottom three. But the fact is that Burnley put on a really good show against Brentford last week. Southampton obviously picked up form. It's going to need to be 40 points, I think, this season. It's going to be near to 40 points to stay up. I think it really will be. Obviously, Norwich are gone, but I think from 19th upwards, I think we'll all gradually pick up results. So yeah, wins are absolutely critical. Wins are the currency that we can only deal with at this moment in time. Draws just won't be enough. For me personally, at this moment in time, we need to be looking to win.
I tend to agree. But for me, Leicester, I don't think it's one of them where we can just sort of go into expecting 3 points to be an easy game.
No, I don't. But Leicester aren't good enough for me to say a draw is a good result at home against them. Personally, I do think that.
I just think on the back of getting absolutely tonked by them last season at home.
We beat them away.
I know, but just to see a turnaround in the results. I mean, we've had the first 10 games. I don't know about you on Joe's shows, but me and Martin have done a lot of comparing the results from this season to last season, and whether we outperform, underperform, what do we do in relation to it. And to turn it round and get a point at home, I'd be happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'd love to win, and I'd like to say we go into the game trying to win the game, but if we're 2-1 down in the late stages, obviously, like I'd take getting back into the game.
Yeah, of course.
Getting a draw, like I think a point is more realistic, to be honest, than 3. And it's one of them where every game so far this season, every big match preview, I've come on and I've said like, oh, we're going to win, and then it's one of them where I usually have egg on my face. So I'm kind of being a little reserved in that manner as well, just because I don't want to have egg on my face every week. So if I do have egg on my face and we win, then I don't mind the egg. It's fine. But, moving away from eggs, Martin, how do you think the game's going to go, mate?
Well, Leicester aren't very good at the back this year. They've got they've let in the same amount of goals as we have so far, which isn't that great for them. But it's going to be a high-scoring game, I feel. Both teams are going to score a few, hopefully. But Leicester, we know that they can hurt us. Jamie Vardy is our kryptonite, and he showed it last year.
Yeah.
If they hit us on the cap,
to be fair.
Yeah, most teams. Yeah, there's no denying he's one of the Premier League's best strikers in the past decade for sure. Yeah. He knows what to do and how to score goals, and he just doesn't seem to stop doing that. Just when you thought that he was tailing off towards the end of last season, he comes back this season and he's got it back seemingly with no problem. So he's going to be a challenge to keep under control. But the player who actually probably scares me a little bit more is Yuri Tielemans. Some of his goals that he scored this year have been sublime. Did you see the one that he scored against?
Yeah, like a Gerrard.
That one. You can't do anything about it either. There's nothing tactical about it that you can do about it. Vardy's goals, tactically, you can anticipate the ball over the top or the quick, incisive through ball. But with Tielemans, the stuff he can do, Martin, that you can't do anything about that.
No. Well, with Leicester, he's key to what they do. Not only is he good going forward, he's one of their best pressers of the ball as well, and he's got a good defensive contribution. He is one of the best box-to-box midfielders in this league. He is the full package, and the goal I was talking about against Man United was just lovely. He dinked De Gea, and I know De Gea has been bit up and down, but it's still something that's a big said for him dinking De Gea, and it wasn't from close range either. It was the way he hit it. It was lovely. Yeah. And I know he's well beyond us, but I would love to see him under Bielsa. He would be a specimen under Bielsa. Never going to happen. Never, ever going to happen, but I've got a lot of love for Yuri Tielemans. He's great, and not only him, but Boubakary Soumaré, I think, would have been a great player for us as well.
We never mentioned it, did we, Oscar?
Never ever mentioned Soumaré. Never mentioned him.
Every fucking week. And we
did, to be fair. He was heavily mentioned him, didn't we, to be fair? I think it was between him and Perrault, wasn't it, that we kept mentioning each week?
Yeah. Those two were heavily mentioned in the summer for us. Soumaré would have been a perfect Bielsa midfielder.
I don't want him to absolutely run through us tomorrow when... he should have been running through them for us. Like, it pisses me off. And I didn't even spend that much on him compared to what I thought he'd go for, I thought he'd go for big money, and it wasn't that much in comparison. They've got some dangerous players. Regardless, I mean, Harvey Barnes has hardly had a look in this season for them, hasn't he? And, again, another player that, not us that have really linked him to us, but, he should have been at Leeds for me, and he would have been fucking amazing at Leeds, and we probably would have got out of the division the first time round if he was there for me. Yeah. But last season...
Are you referring to the first season?
The first season. Yeah, if we would have got him then instead of West Brom, I think we go up instead of West Brom. But
that's fair.
Obviously, it's one of them where, look, he's gone on to have a good career so far, and then last season was amazing, and somehow he's sort of dropped out of favour this season, so I'll be relieved to not see him.
Is that not the system though? They changed to the 3-4-1-2. That's more down rather than his performances.
You can play him alongside Vardy as a striker. You can play him on either wing. You can play.
Yeah, but would you though if you got Daka or Iheanacho kind of as actual out and out strikers to play alongside Vardy?
Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't. Iheanacho and Daka are putting him out, but I just don't understand how he's managed to drop out from where he was last season.
I'm not
I think
complaining.
so.
I'd quite happily not see someone like Harvey Barnes who compete on man-to-man marking on his own kind of thing. He always plays well against us as well, so I'd be happy to not see a 4-2-3-1 and no Harvey Barnes on the left wing.
To be fair, Barnes has played 7 out of their 10 games so far. It's just because he's not been playing in the past couple of games with their change of system. That's the only reason why he's been missing out recently. But so we could well see him back. Well, he's played 7 so far. We've started 7 games, and he's only got one assist so far, no goals. So maybe he is out of form. That's why we haven't seen him. That could be one of the other reasons why Rodgers may have changed system a bit, because of the form of Daka and Iheanacho. They're both you can't ignore their form at the moment. And with a combination of Vardy and whichever one of those Rodgers goes for, it's going to be a potent lineup against us. And I feel it's going to be a moments game tomorrow.
I think it's going to be a bit like Everton, that 2-2 draw.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game, and big moments by big players are going to decide it, and hopefully our big moment player. I wonder who that would be. Who would be our big moment player, guys?
Charlie Cresswell.
definitely Cresswell. No, Rafinha and
Gelhardt off the bench as well.
Yeah, Gelhardt is definitely something to look at from the bench, but Rafinha is going to be the player who wins us this game, no doubt for me. Yeah. I would love to see another player take the game by the scruff of the neck and do something. I would absolutely love for Jack Harrison to re-find his form and just tear Leicester a new one, because I didn't like giving him a low score for last week's game. It's the lowest score I've given a player so far, but that's because I love Harrison so much, and I want him to start doing what we know he can do.
Yeah, he will bounce back.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
That he's done. We've had moments like this before with Harrison, where he's had a couple of games where he hasn't got goals, hasn't got assists. His performances have dropped a little bit, but he always bounces back. Harry, he's a resilient player to me. For me, he's one of our most resilient players in the squad. Really, you look at his first season at Leeds, he does always bounce back.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think it's a shame that he is going through a little bit of a poor run, but I think he still belongs on the starting lineup more than Dan James for me so far. I don't think Dan James has done a right lot to prove to me that 25 mil was well spent.
I can hear Chris Kelly's fume from here at that.
What about Dan James?
About you saying Harrison over James, but no, I think it's closer than people are saying. I don't think James is being. If Harrison started tomorrow over James, I don't think it'd be outrageous from Bielsa. I certainly don't think that at all.
No, I just don't think Dan James has done anything, to be honest, yet. And obviously Harrison, again, not doing a right lot either. But I think with Bielsa, there's always that tendency to sort of be overly loyal to people, which would make me lean towards expecting to see Harrison over James if it is a choice between one or the other. But obviously recently we've seen both in Rafinha. So, I mean, in all honesty, I don't particularly like seeing all 4 of them, and obviously including Rodrigo. I'd like to see 2 wingers and not have the experiment with someone playing out of to just too many square pegs and round holes, that same thing all the time. To be honest, I'd be more tempted to just throw like a Gelhardt in, let him start up front instead of putting Harrison or James up front. I would do that. But again, don't expect it. Bielsa's going to do what Bielsa does. And look, either way, I think he's far more equipped than any of us to try and find find a way of getting 3 points tomorrow. What do we think scores are going to be, guys? Like, get score predictions in. Obviously, send them in the comments. We'll flash them up. But what do we think?
2-1 Leeds.
I'm going 2-2.
Yeah, I think I'm going to copy you, Martin. I'm going to go 2-2, same as the Everton game. I think I'd take a draw. I think it's one of them where, like...
No.
And, like, Everton could have been out of sight. They could have been 4-1 up. I think Vardy will score. I think they will go in front first and we'll have to fight back. I think they'll go in front again and we'll have to fight back. And I think we'll need a bit of luck to stay in the game to avoid it going to 3-1. But I think we will stay in it. I think Rodrigo is going to continue his scoring form. And obviously, as Martin said, we need Rafinha if we're going to get anything. So Rafinha will score too.
Inevitable. He's inevitable, isn't he?
Goal scorers.
3-0 Leeds is a very hopeful one, Danny. I can we will definitely concede tomorrow. There's no doubt in my mind that we will concede. I would love a clean sheet. I would love it. It would do our defence
we've kept less clean sheets than Norwich, mate.
Yeah, but do you not think defensively last few weeks the fact we've been conceding one, maybe zero, one clean sheet. We're not conceding 2 or 3 a game at this moment in time. I know obviously Leicester's
we do concede every game,
but a couple of those games were against Watford and against Norwich.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But at the end of the day, against Burnley and Newcastle, especially that away game earlier in the season, they created tons of chances against us. We needed Meslier really to preserve the point. But I just think defensively we do look not perfect, but more stable for me a little bit.
Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley, Watford, Wolves, Southampton, all these teams are shit. It's not like we've played Man United or Liverpool. They are, mate. Like I
wouldn't say Southampton and Wolves are.
Well, they are. So the only teams from
Wolves are like 7th.
They're not a good team.
Well, right, but they're not shit. That's just you can call them average, but shit suggests like they're relegation fodder.
See, Wolves have been better this season. Wolves have been better this season than they were last season for me. I think. No, they're not. But they have still changed a lot from what they were last season, and they have caused a lot of problems to other teams. We managed to nullify the things that they do well because of the energy that we've got in midfield, and they weren't able to do their normal things that do against other teams. So we kept the possession limited to them. But if you saw what they've done recently, they've had some very good results against some good teams. And did they put past Everton the other night? Was it 3? I think. Am I right there?
2-1.
2-1, yeah.
I'm being prodded. I've got to go. Right. We're on fucking 10 points, yeah? Wolves are on 16 points. They're 6 points ahead of us. They're not exactly fucking Champions League quality, mate. They've put a small run together. They are not a good team. I don't give a fuck what anyone wants to say in the comments. They're genuinely not a good team. It's as simple as that. I don't buy it. Like, they've done very little to move on from what Nuno left them as last season. All they do is roll around on the floor, try and cling on to 1-0 wins. If you think that's a good team, fucking fine, I don't. Southampton, again, not a great team, 4 points above us, and the game played more. I'm looking at the table now. There is genuinely, outside of the top 10, of which Wolves are in, there's not many good teams. This isn't a great division.
Totally disagree.
How many good teams are in this division?
The league is as high quality now as it's ever been.
The overall standard of the league has got better, in my opinion. The teams around the mid to higher mid-table range have improved a lot, and the teams
further away from the top 4.
Where are Palace? Where are Palace on that table at this moment in time? They're not much further above us. Palace. If you look at Palace's performances, it's the team that last season. Yeah, but last season playing like that. You can't tell me a team like Crystal Palace hasn't improved immeasurably on last season under Hodgson, and they're actually probably lower in the table. Yeah, but does that not sum it up for you in terms of the quality around them? The fact they're playing better and they're no higher in the table.
Norwich statistically are worse than fucking Sheffield United were at the same
time. Yeah, but Norwich is a different thing. We all know Norwich. Norwich, I think, could even break Derby's points record.
Newcastle have got 4 points. Burnley have got 7. It's not like the division isn't full of great teams.
I think it's never going to be full of great teams, but I think quality-wise, it's a lot better than last season. Would genuinely strongly argue that.
I think it's because teams haven't been able to get a consistent run of wins because of the quality improving. The teams around the mid-table mark aren't picking up the same results that they would have done last season, and it's led to less consistency and not being able to predict results as easily because there have been changes in manager in some teams who traditionally played more defensive, like Palace. They played a lot more defensive last year than what they are doing this year. Hodgson was a great manager, no doubt in him, but he didn't play the best style of football. Whereas Palace are now playing a better football than what they were.
I like watching Palace at the moment.
Yeah, they're good to watch, and it's good to see.
I've never enjoyed watching Palace. No. So to be fair, that's a change. I'll give him that.
Yeah, it's a weird division at the moment. I think we'll start to see
pulled away a lot. And then you've got Tottenham and Arsenal as well, who would claim to be part of that big six, but they're nowhere near the top four for me. And then
but you can't tell me Arsenal don't look a lot better than what they did last season.
No, to be honest, I don't think they do.
Watch him, mate. Watch him. They're a country mile better than what they were last season. And they're no higher in the table.
Just with the addition of Ben White, that improves their defence a lot. That was their biggest thing, was being sloppy in defence and having someone who's solid like Ben White there. And they've also made other defensive improvements with Tomiyasu as well. He's been good for them as well. I think that they've got a good chance of getting into the spots behind the top four this year as opposed to last year. Spurs, depends how well Conte does. You can't underestimate Antonio Conte after what he's done in Italy last year, breaking Juventus's dominance. He's definitely one to look out for with Spurs. That if he can get them firing, and if they put some money in as well in January, they could be another force that we need to reckon with.
Look at the quality of managers though in the league now. As Martin's just said there, Antonio Conte's just come into the league. I think there's not many average managers in that league now for me. I think the ones that are about to get sacked anyway, if we're being totally honest. I think that Daniel Farke, Dean Smith, I think it's only a matter of time till they go. They'll be replaced by managers. I just think the league is of exceptional quality this season, personally.
I mean, I'm going to disagree, but...
You're the one that's saying you settle for a draw tomorrow.
I would settle for a draw tomorrow because Leicester...
But the league is good, though.
No, I don't think the 2 points match up. We got tonked by them
4-1
last season. I'll take a draw.
If you're saying, right, you've said before, you wind me up you sometimes, right? You don't. I'm not sure you even genuinely believe this now. I think you've realised about a minute ago, thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here. But anyway,
on what
you said that most of the league is shit. Was I think your exact words for it?
Top four's good. The rest of it.
Surely Leicester's got to be part of that. Now that they're 10th, 11th in the table.
Yeah,
surely we should be expected to win then.
I think there is Leicester for me outside of the top four over the last 2 or 3 seasons are the 5th best team in this league. They're better than Tottenham. They're better than Arsenal.
What right now?
Since Brendan Rodgers came in general over a period of time, yes, they are better than Tottenham and Arsenal because those 2 teams have been shite for a few years as well. It's a fact.
Yeah, but what about the here and now though?
Here and now, they're obviously in 11th, but
I think that's poor form.
They've still got potential to go on and finish. I'd say that they finish somewhere between 5th and 8th this season. They don't finish outside the top 10.
No, I agree with that. But I still think that they're there for the taking tomorrow, personally.
They were there for the taking last season as well, though, and we got Dick.
And we did take them.
We did beat them in the second game, though.
I'm just saying in the same fixture last season, we got Dick 4-1. So in respect of that result...
we got the Elland Road crowd in this game. We got Rafinha in the team. You got Llorente, you got Phillips in the team.
We were very, very...
Llorente hasn't been good, and neither's Phillips.
Dear me, you're on a negative one today, you, Phil. Jeez. I'm negative to see today, Martin.
I'm being honest. I don't see what the problem is with saying I would take a draw. I think a lot of Leeds fans would say I'd take a draw about tomorrow.
No, I'm not. It's just the fact you haven't now want to go at Llorente and Phillips.
I'm not having a go at them. They're not in good form. There's only basically Rafinha who is in actual good form for us so far this season. The whole way through the season, I can't think of anyone that's played well the whole way through. Nobody has.
Meslier?
No, because he was gash last week. We only conceded because
you're joking me.
I love Meslier, but we only
points has Meslier earned us this season?
Mate, the goal we conceded last season is all on Meslier. You can put maybe a small percentage on Shackleton, but it's Mellier's fault.
What, so one mistake and now we're saying Mellier's having a bad season?
I haven't said he's had a bad season.
Or an average season?
I haven't said he's had an average season. I've said nobody has had a consistent run of 10 league games and been good in all of them. They haven't. Nobody has.
But we never get that.
I think you would put Meslier at the top percentage of the teams of the players who have been playing well this season. And
Rafinha, Calvin, Meslier, they're the 3 players that are basically at the top of our performance of individual players. But none of those 3 has played well in every game. They haven't.
But no one has in the league. Salah's not played well in every single game. You'd have quite last week against Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
It's the nature of the
players have
football.
had a bad season. I just said they're not in form right now. And Calvin in particular, and Llorente in particular, for me, against Norwich last week, they weren't good. So for me, that's not great form right now. I don't understand what the problem
But
is.
that's one game out of like what? It depends how far back you're going on form. I mean, you're going back 5-6 games.
I'd go back at least 3-4 games on Calvin Phillips not being back up to speed. Yeah,
I suppose, but nothing's been especially bad.
I'd say it hasn't been great since he came back from his injury. Yeah,
I thought he was all right against Arsenal in the cup.
I thought he was bad against Arsenal, to be honest. Personally, I thought he hasn't looked good since he came back, and I feel he's got rushed back. Because we need him. He was beaten so many times last week by Matthias Norman on the run. I think he had 6 occasions where he was dribbled past last week, which by his standards is very poor. I think we're more judging by his standards than anyone else. If it was anyone else performing like Phillips is doing, we'd be saying, "Oh yeah, they're doing all right." But me personally, I hold him to a higher standard than what I would do other players in the team.
I just think if you're going off that one game last week and saying that Llorente's in average form, I did totally disagree with that personally.
I'm not going off one game.
I think you look at Llorente's performance against Arsenal, the fact that I think it could even be useful against Leicester. That's just one for me thing before we sign off. But I think Llorente's ability to play that ball over the top into a Harrison. We've said it before about the speed of our forward players compared to Leicester's lack of mobility within Johnny Evans, Soyuncu. That's a potential weapon to use in this game. So yeah, I would say that we've got some players who can cause a lot of problems for Leicester City tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I think we've lost Martin for the second time. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I just had to close my patio door. One of the other cats had come in, and I knew he was going to be noisy because one of my cats is in heat, and he's a bit gagging. He's a boy.
Was the cat saying Melié's had a good season so far, Martin?
Well, he came in and
did you hear that outrageous take on Phil Miles?
I think he might have said something. But who knows? Who knows? It's just a neighbourhood cat. I don't think we need to worry about him too much.
And I think that's probably where we'll draw the line. It's been wonderful. Please, if you haven't already, smash the like, as Oscar would say. Oscar, do you want to just do your powerful smash the like for us one time?
Smash that like button. Don't just press like. Smash the like button, but don't break your computer at the same time. If you do need your computer to watch our further content in the next couple of days, we're going to be doing a quick lineup predictor with this new thing I bought. I'm going to put that out this evening at some point. Maybe like a quick 2-3 minute video. Probably the last bit of pre-match content. Obviously, guys, smash the like on this one. Check out me. Scotty's pre-match on quick 10-minute pre-matches on the game. Also catched up with Locks from Locks in the Box, giving us an opposition preview from Leicester's point of view. And tomorrow we will be doing a lineup reaction an hour before the game, like we did last season. As soon as the lineups come out, we're going to do a quick live reaction to that. I think we've got a watch-along plan tomorrow. And then straight after the game, we're doing a fans post-match. So if you are any members watching this, tomorrow, stay tuned, and you will be able to join us on the chat on All Leeds TV about 10-20 minutes after the game. Player ratings as well, boys. We having that tomorrow?
Not sure about tomorrow night. It might be Monday, but
it will be after the game. Some point after the game, we'll have player ratings and, of course, post-match content and the fan vlog. So plenty to do, guys. Plenty to do, plenty to watch. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't done already, and I guess leave it there, guys.
Yeah, also, just one last thing. Don't forget to have a look at the links in the comments below as well for the Just Giving page. Obviously, our event is now on Friday next week. We've got a wonderful tournament combining some of the biggest names from the Leeds United media stratosphere. And obviously, we announced a few days ago, Noel Whelan will be up front with Rod Christopher and myself in a wonderful front three for All Leeds TV next week. Oscar, I know you'll be there. Martin, you'll be there. So I hope you're all looking forward to it. But in the meantime, please go to that link and donate, guys, to the Leeds United Foundation. So enjoy the game tomorrow. And obviously, we'll see you over the next few days. Keep an eye out for everything Oscar just said. And have a lovely weekend. See you later, guys. Thanks a lot.